What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. This is episode 2 of the weekly recap, and in this recap we're going over the sectors. So this site that I have up right here is barcharts.com. I will leave a link to this website down below. I love this website because I can quickly see what sectors performed the best from the past 5 days, today, month, 3 months, 6 month, year to date, and I can really dig into the sectors and just get all the stats from the sectors. And you can even go down here and filter them however you want. But what sucks about bar charts is it filters the stocks $25 and above. So you're not going to get stocks under $25. What I do recommend is going to FinViz. They have the exact same thing. You go to the groups, click on groups, and then click on charts, and it'll bring up the charts of all the sectors, and you can use bar charts to see which one performed the best through the week, the past 5 days. Go to FinViz, click on the sector, and you could get all the charts on FinViz of the sectors. Or if you really want to break it down, go to Overview, click on Change, and it will list all the top percentage stocks that broke out with sympathy of that sector. Like we got RHE right there. I like using FinViz a little bit more to break it down. But let's get into this market recap. The past week, we've had healthcare perform the best, followed by financials and industrials. Energy sector just got destroyed last week, as you can see, negative 3.26%, and communication services losing 1.75%. We'll go over to the charts and we'll break down industrials first. You can see I drew a resistance and a support line. Industrials have just been in this range, going up and down, consolidating before its next move. And this is on a 30-minute time frame. Next, we got consumer discretionary. Same thing, in a range currently right here, bouncing off of support from the old previous high here at 118. And it's found resistance up here at around 120, 121, I would say. Next up, we got materials. You can see right here was resistance, and we fell down and made a new low here, and we just grinded all the way back up, and it was still holding as resistance. Recently, it's broke through, made a new high, and when it's pulled back, it's bouncing right off this old resistance. It even penetrated it right there. But if I bring over the daily, we can see all the resistance right there, right there, right there, right there. Finally gets above it, makes a rainbow, comes back down, and it's showing it's wanting to hold as support right here for a potential bounce up. So materials is looking for a good week setting up. We also have the golden cross right there. Next up, we got communications, the second worst performing sector the past week. You can see recently this was consolidating, and then it trended down right here, got a drop to the downside, recovered itself, quick consolidation, got out of that range, and just a little trending up right there, and then started moving on up. And when we got this move up, you can see there's a gap over here, way over here. And I'll point this out on the daily. This just simply came up and filled that gap and pulled right back down. This filled that gap on Friday, and then it pulled back. Let's check it out on the daily. Here's the daily of communications. You can see that gap right here, and I drew a line connecting all the way over here. It slowly grinded up and then got momentum and pushed up, touching that line, filling that gap, and now we're getting a pullback down on it. We could possibly get a nice good bounce back up to this resistance line up here. I like the healthiness of it bouncing off this mental 50.49 area. We'll just have to see what it does the upcoming week. Next, we got the technology sector. The technology sector has just been on fire. We made, again, an all-time new high right here, but then after it hit that all-time new high, it just liked hanging around the 78 area right here. And if I zoom out on the daily here, you could see how far away we've gotten from the previous all-time high right here around 76, and we're coming up to this 80 area. Now we'll look at the 30-minute. You could see I drew a support line because this was the all-time new high here. It tested right there. It broke through it, and we just got to push on up, making a double top pretty much with a new high each time. We get a nice double bottom right here. So we're just going to have to see if this double bottom will pull up and this can keep pushing up for new highs, or is this going to consolidate and just go sideways in this range, or is it going to pull back even more and test this old support area? It's going to be interesting to see what the technology sector does next week. Next, we got the energy sector. This is the worst performing sector last week. You could see it was just nicely trending up and up and up, slowly but surely here, just recently, and it just fell off, and it was red every single day last week. You had a sign right here with the 200-day crossing below the 300-day. The 200-day is in a downtrend, and this fell right below the 50-day moving average. It did try to bounce here right off the 100-day moving average. And if I zoom out on this, this is the daily again. You could see this resistance line right here is just can't get above 70. I thought when we started trending up, we would at least try to come up and test the 70 level. And now it's just fell to the downside hard. And here's the 30-minute on the energy sector. All the way back to the first of the year, this was just trending nicely. After this big sell-off, and it rebounds up. A little quick consolidation right there, and then it just starts trending up, forming higher lows. We did get toppy there for a quick second, but we continued to make higher lows. And then you could just see we just little by little just kept breaking, but it was just nicely trending. And then it fell down right here, and you could see it bounced 2 times on that bottom support trend line, and then cracked right through it and fell down hard. You could see, I'll zoom in on this. It did get pretty extended though, away from this bottom trend line down here, and started to ride this upper resistance line. And then it just broke below this level, and then this level was acting as new resistance. Bounced off it 2 times like a jackhammer. Boom, boom, fell through. Next, we got the financials. I like how we have the golden cross right there with the 50-day pushing over the 200-day. You could just see this range that it was in a little bit right there. And it finally broke above that, and then it did have resistance right there, and it broke away from that as well. So a nice breakout for the financials. But it is coming up to a major resistance up here at around 28.50s. And again, this is the 30-minute. We had resistance here and here. You can see it glided along it right there, and it finally pushed up and through that. And it got a quick double top here at 28. And we got to pull back down. So it's going to be interesting to see what the financials do this upcoming week. Is it going to push up and test this resistance line, or is it going to hang around in this range? I want to see it stay above 27.50. Next, we got the healthcare sector. This is the daily chart. This was the best performing sector last week. You can see here I can draw trend lines connecting the lower high or higher lows and lower highs. This is currently in a big wedge. One thing I want to point out, we are forming a death cross on the healthcare sector right here. You can see the 50-day is sharply turning down, about to cross below the 200-day. We recently just had a big sell-off right here, and this also was in a wedge right here, and you can see it broke to the downside. So now we're getting a rebound after that big sell-off right there, which could explain why this was one of the best performing sectors last week. This broke out of a pattern to the downside, and it just got a really good bounce on it. It's going to be interesting to see healthcare, what it's going to do. I'm thinking it's going to get another great pullback right back down. I want to see it form a higher low from this last area right here. So I'm bearish on healthcare going into next week. Just a nice 5-point push up the past few weeks on this. This area is going to act as a major resistance area. And again, this is the 30-minute on the healthcare. You can see with this trend line right here, it formed a big wedge. Big wedge. And then it recently, again, formed a wedge right there. And you could see that wedge broke below it, sold off, it rebounded back up, and the top of that candle right there, the wick, touched this bottom resistance or support, and it was now holding as resistance, and it sold off even more and formed a hot low right there. And we just simply got a great bounce off of that. This could keep pushing up to this trend line right here, 91 area, this next week, or we could just start retracing and pulling back. I know a lot of stocks in the healthcare sector last week exploded. ABIO, DFFN, RHE, a lot of great stocks exploded out of the healthcare sector. And you could just see that explosiveness as I zoom in on this. Look at that. From 84.50 all the way up to 90. A 6-point just great move up. Next up, we got consumer staples. Just a great grind up right here from 48.50 all the way up to 58. I did think that this area was going to hold as resistance, and it did for a short time. And it pulled back right here, as you can see. And then it just, from 56.50, just exploded up to 58, making a new high. But then it couldn't hold that high. And if I zoom in on this, you could see when it exploded up, it gave it all back and then some. But it did get a good bounce the next few couple days. But this is looking good though. I do like this. As the 200-day crossed above the 300-day, the 200-day crossed above the 100-day. The 300-day was trending down here, this purple line. You can see it's starting to curve its way on up. We got the 200-day in a solid up move, and the 50-day is just up and up and up and up and up right now. But if I look at this on the 30-minute, the 30-minute looks really good. You can see this is just in a solid uptrend, up, all the way back from March. And from around Christmas time. late December, from 48 all the way up to 57, almost 58 here. Just great rebound up. And if I zoom in, you can see this was just in a great wedge trend up. Up and up and up and up. And it did get a couple exaggerated pops out of the upper trend line resistance I had here, and was able to form another trend line right here connecting the higher highs. I kept this trend line simply because it fell back through it. It conformed. This bottom trend line is still holding as support, and when it came back up, it's still showing right here that this top resistance trend line connecting all the way back is still acting as resistance. So that's why I simply kept it on. We still could pop out from this trend line, but it possibly will be short-lived. As you can see, it was short-lived right there, and right here. It just couldn't hold above it. Next, we got real estate, as this is approaching all-time new highs. We got all-time new highs here at 36.72. Good bounce here right off the 50-day moving average. The 300-day is U-shaping up. The 200-day is in an uptrend. The 100-day is in an uptrend. And the 50-day is in a nice uptrend. Yeah, it did penetrate through the 50-day, but you got to think of these moving averages as trampolines. It punched right through it, and then it snapped right up. So as we're approaching all-time highs, look for real estate to make all-time new highs and get some momentum. That's why right now in real estate, it's not a good idea to buy new homes, but it's a good idea to sell homes because it's at all-time new highs. That's why when I hear people they're looking to buy a home, it's like, why? The real estate is at all-time highs. Look at the low on that, 29.50, and now it's approaching 36.75. But what I will point out on real estate, it wasn't a solid uptrend, and then it broke through that uptrend, and we can draw connecting the lower or higher low on that. Just solid uptrends on real estate. Who knows what real estate's going to do this upcoming week? It could just test this resistance. It could just retrace itself. But what I would want to see is have it hold up above this level right here. I want to see it form strength. I want to see it form higher lows. So look for next week any stocks in the real estate sector for any possible momentum to break out to the upside, with the sector here almost approaching all-time highs. Last but not least, we got utilities here. The all-time new high was right here, and then it tested right there, and now is holding as support. This recently broke out to all-time new highs. We got, again, the 300 days going up, the 200 days going up, the 100 days going up, and the 50 days just in a solid up move. You can slap a trend line on this, connecting the lower highs, forming a wedge possibly. This could be the top for utilities. I don't know. But it's doing a couple things. It does look like it's possibly trying to U-shape like it did right here. Or this could just be consolidating. So it's going to be interesting to see what utilities do next week as well. So technology, healthcare, utilities, real estate, there's a few sectors that I'm going to want to keep on watch for next week. And again, here is the 30-minute of utilities. You could see it just grinded all up right here. and then recently it's just been consolidating, making a new high right there and right there, pulling back, confirming that this is support once, twice, 3, 4 times, and just making its way on up. Slap just a trend line on it, connecting the lower highs, and see if it confines itself to that, or is it going to come up and test the all-time highs, or push to break out the all-time highs. I don't want to predict what's going to happen. I always just want to react to what's going to happen. But right now, utilities is looking like it's consolidating before its next move. And it can keep pushing up, or it can keep just drop off. And that's all the sectors and on how they performed last week. Again, the hot sector last week was healthcare. I'm going to look for healthcare to pull back this upcoming week. I'm going to look for energy to have a good bounce after that big sell-off. Technology is just still on fire. So technology stocks have been good lately. And also look for real estate, as real estate's approaching all-time highs. Also industrial. I mean, there's so many hot sectors right now. The market's on fire right now. The overall market's been breaking out to new highs. All these sectors are breaking out to all-time new highs. Just going on great runs. Very, very just great times right now. And it just gets you fired up for the upcoming trading week. I can't wait for Money Monday to see what the market brings. But again, I'll leave links to all this great information in the description down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and join the Trading Learning 101 community. And smash that like button. It lets me know you guys like these videos. And until next time, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. Alright everyone, have a great week. Later.